Okay, apologies. I thought I was recording earlier. So, let me just step back a little bit. So, we are in this course on audio transcription, and it's compulsory for all our interns. It's a bonus skill that you can work with even outside of this program that we are taking. The objectives of this course is that by the time we are done, be able to understand what we mean by audio transcription, understand the basic principles for audio transcription. You should be able to transcribe an audio file appropriately and properly format a transcript, and then be able to use Express Scribe audio transcription software. So what is an audio transcript? What is audio transcription? It's basically to convert anything into a written form, a conversation, a video, anything from audio form to written form. It can be handwritten, it can be typed, or anything, but something that can be printed, but at least can be read. So you listen to any audio file you are given and you write it out. It is better to listen and type rather than first writing and then typing. It is sheer waste of time. Like trying to transcribe an audio file. Let me just go into that. You want to transcribe an audio file, don't say, I will first play it. You first write it down on paper and start typing. We have found that it's not the most efficient way to transcribe an audio file. You listen and type. Although it will involve a lot of back and forth, but the best way to do it with good paragraph spacing and like that. So we'll talk more about that. So why do we transcribe audios? Why do we go about the work of audio transcription? It helps to provide a readable record of an audio or video conversation. That's what audio transcription does. It presents a printable and a readable record that you can be able to work with. So that is why we transcribe an audio file. So far, is what I'm saying, is it making sense, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me just ask, has anybody had any experience with audio transcription before now?
Yes.
Okay, can you share your experience?
Yes.
It was a project anyway.
Okay.
An interview between, I've forgotten, a coordinator and interviewer anyway.
Okay.
And around, is it I think an hour of conversation. It was tedious because you have to like slow it down sometimes to hear, and especially if you miss a particular aspect, you have to slow it down to hear. I spent like 6 hours on that 1 hour audio, so it's very tedious. That's my experience anyway, and that's my first time.
Yes, it can be that tedious. It can take that much time. Anybody else wants to share the experience? Thank you, Mrs. Paul Adeleye.
Yes, I've also done a couple of transcription before.
Okay.
Just like you said, it's quite tedious as well. Right? And you have to follow the routine, the interviewer, the respondent. You have to identify the two. You need to put timestamp. Then you need to put any other, if there's a background noise, you have to include it there. And like so, I've done it before. I did some last week. I don't really like it though. Be sincere.
You say you don't like it. Okay, well, maybe we'll call it a necessary evil or whatever it's. But surprisingly enough, there are some people that really enjoy doing it. So, what is one man's meat is another man's poison. That's what we call it. And it is a very important step if you are going to be doing qualitative research. So we cannot do without it. Audio transcription. So I want to give you some hints about. Okay, so I've told you that a transcript is a written record of an audio file. So how do you produce the written record? You play the audio file, you listen to it and type whatever you hear. That is basically it. So what are the rules that are guiding your typing? What are the rules that are guiding your reading? I think I should talk about that one first before talking about how to format your transcript. So I will share a Word document now that contains a different, some highlights on how to format your transcripts, how to go about with typing. So, okay. Now, it says that in an interview, okay, so we are not talking about the rules for interview. So first of all is that you should capture as many sounds as you can. Like practically every sound that you hear in the interview should be captured. But we have two basic ways that we transcribe an interview. We can transcribe verbatim or paraphrased. Verbatim means that you write everything you hear, everything, both the cough and the laugh and the sneeze and the clap and the everything. That's verbatim. Paraphrase is where you paraphrase what the person has said, give us the idea. Now, it is a methodological crime for you to paraphrase an interview. It is a methodological crime. It is, maybe I'll say it 3 times. It is a methodological crime. It's a methodological crime for you to paraphrase an interview. The reason is because the interview is the data you're analyzing. Once you paraphrase it, you have tampered with the data. Because in qualitative research, the words that people say is the data that will be analyzed. Once you as a transcriber are paraphrasing it, you are infusing your own idea and your interpretation of what the person said. That's why you cannot paraphrase. So give us exactly what the person said. Let the analyst go and make meaning from it, not you. Please, is what I said clear?
Yeah. It is clear.
Okay. Is there any question on that?
No.
No question. Okay, thank you very much.
There's a question, sir.
Yes.
In a situation whereby we have the full verbatim, and there is one we call, there's another one we call, whereby you won't try to put everything there, like everything, maybe other language you are hearing from, the distraction you are hearing at the background, maybe you are not meant to put them there. What should we call that kind of transcript?
Okay. Now,
yes,
remember that in the transcript, what's the most important part? What the person said is the most important part. Other things you talk about are contextual information. Do you understand what I mean? What I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Contextual information like the car sound, the telephone call, all those ones, they help you to have an idea of what is happening, because you cannot remove people from the context of what they say or what they do. So those are contextual informations. Those ones are not as important as what the person said. However, those things affect what the person said. That's why it is important. It is important to sometimes capture them based on the request of the analyst or whoever asks you to do the work. For instance, you are talking to a nursing mother. You ask her a question, and her child starts crying. You now have a long pause inside the interview. What does it mean? It means the woman went to attend to her baby. Do you understand? So the contextual sound, baby crying. If you hear baby crying and the next thing you find that nobody is saying anything, we can infer that because baby cried, that's why there was silence between a period of time. So contextual information. So generally, so first of all is we need everything the person said. Everybody that was in that interview, every word that you can hear in the interview need to be typed out. And when you are typing, don't type it with your idea of what they said. Type exactly what they said, the way they said it. Now, you mentioned something about in another language. If the interview was carried out in another language, then the person that carried out the interview should, number one, understand the language. and transcribe, or get somebody that understands the language to transcribe the interview audio, because you don't want to lose information because you you didn't understand what the person said. Okay, Mr. Uche, it will not be compulsory to look for why the baby was crying, the reason why the baby was crying, unless it is important to your research. I'll talk more on that later. So now, the ones you use for things that are not related to the interview are called parentheses. If there are things that come up in the interview that are not exactly what the person said, but related ideas, you put them in parentheses like this. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay, this is parentheses. You put them in something like this. So there are different instances where you have to use this. I'll talk about them. Then, when you are doing your transcription, please don't ever do spelling checker. No spelling checker now. Spelling checker will correct the English to textbook English. Don't ever use spelling checker. Listen over the audio file and type. Why? This is because people rarely talk the way they do it in textbook. Especially if you are doing a Nigerian or African. Okay, let me use Nigerian now. We have some non-Nigerians among us. So when our people in my country are speaking their English, you will be shocked. The way they say, even the transcriber gone, sometimes they don't understand English. They just transcribe jargons. But anyway, I'm talking about the person that's talking. So you don't transcribe, you don't interpret for the person. I said type exactly what you heard. So don't try and put meaning into the mouth of the speaker. And don't use spelling checker, because spelling checker will, people normally speak poor English at this side of the country, at this side of the world. In my country, not everybody understands good English. So the English that you are going to be typing out is most likely going to be wrong, and you should not correct it. That's, type it exactly. If the person blow grammar, type the way they blew the grammar there. That's the way they want to carry out their, important is that they are conveying the idea in their language. Please stick to whether you're using British English or American English. Generally, Nigeria will use British English. But if you know you want to use American English, don't be switching. You type color with OUR in one, and you type favor with OR in another. Then you type center with RE in one, then you type so and so. No, stick to one spelling style and use it. If the person use a filler that you, the transcriber, can pick the meaning, you can put the meaning in square brackets again. If you feel the meaning of the word will be lost, write what you feel the person is trying to say inside /. Okay, so what I'm saying is that you are transcribing an audio. The person says something that's not very clear, but you as a transcriber understood what the person said. But the way the person said it is not making sense. What you can do is to open a square bracket, type what the person said first, then open a bracket, then type what the idea you perceive the person is saying. For instance, look at the person is saying, this can mean different things at different times. It can mean somebody is thinking, it can mean somebody is disagreeing, it can mean somebody is agreeing, it can mean anything. So as the transcriber, if you can figure out the meaning and you think it's important to put it there, it's not always important, you can put it in a square bracket, because we are not interested in reading what your idea in the transcript. We're interested in reading our transcript. So don't put too much of your ideas, just give us what you want. If you have issue, last we'll go and listen to our audio file again. If it happens that you get to a part of your interview that you cannot hear what the person is saying, open a bracket, type that exact time in the audio where you stop hearing what the person said, and up to the time where you start hearing again. So for instance, this part says from 9:06, 9 minutes 6 seconds up to 10 minutes 25 seconds, it was inaudible. Couldn't hear what they were saying. Maybe there was noise, there was not around, it was just plain quiet. Type it. This is because sometimes we use silence as a tool in qualitative research in interview. because you want the person to talk, you keep quiet. Eventually, the person will be feel the uncomfortability of the silence may force the person to talk. You understand? Maybe you are trying to question somebody on why the person is looking sad. As the person, you have to keep quiet and allow the person to make up his mind or whether they want to talk or not. It can also happen because of rain, the interviewer forgot to press pause, or technical failure. It says that even if the silence is up for 2 hours, listen through. Listen throughout the entire period. Don't skip. And because you may be sure that there may be audios at the end of the long period or even in between. So listen through it and don't try to skip till the end of the interview. When everybody is talking, you can put crosstalk. When we ask a question, what do you think about the Man U prospect for this season? That's crosstalk. You can't pick out what anybody is saying at that time. You can put it in the bracket as crosstalk. Then, now after you have written crosstalk, everything you can hear, write it until you hear the next individual voice that you can understand. They say, oh my, lose. Sorry, let me speak. They will lose. Is it Ronaldo? Sorry, I don't watch football. Ronaldo will score 100 goals in that match. For where? Man, you should go back home. They have no future in Premiership. So you hear different things, everything you can pick out. After you have typed question mark crosstalk, then type everything you can pick out. And if possible, type the time that you started hearing them talk and the time you stopped hearing, so that we have a time stamp. I'll come back to time stamp later. Then a long pause. When the long pause is longer than 30 seconds, indicate that it's a long pause. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So if the pause is very long, indicate that it's a long pause. For instance, if it's longer than 3 seconds, use long pause. Some will say if it's between 3 to 6 seconds, you can use double parentheses, 1 to 3 space, and ellipses, 1 to 3 space, 1 to 3. But just use long pause and then type the time that the pause started, like we have here, and the time the pause ended. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes interviewers use silence as a tool just to make sure that somebody is done talking, or to make the person uncomfortable so that he or she has to speak more. Now, when you are not sure of what somebody says, you can put it in question mark and type what you think the person said and close it. What the person said may be different from what you think the person said. And when you are typing, don't paraphrase words in your transcripts. Don't shorten words. For example, you don't type okay in short word, you type it in full. Don't use your own contraction for word. Don't shorten word based on what you think it should be. Like, type it exactly the way the person said it. Some people will talk in slang. Type the slangs that they said without shortening their words. Next, there's something called a timestamp. A timestamp is like after you have listened for 2 minutes, where the 2 minutes ended, open bracket and write 2.00. Or so then where it got to 15 minutes, where it got 20 minutes. The reason is because a timestamp makes it possible to trace where there may be, to trace the location of particular sentences in an audio file. Maybe the interview is somebody, you want to check where an issue was mentioned in the interview. You not have to go and listen all through again. With the timestamp, you can easily skip to that particular time in the interview. So that's why a timestamp is important. Skilled interviewers often use a lot of probe to keep the respondent talking. If the probe does not break the flow of what the respondent is saying, you can capture the flow. However, if it breaks it, you can capture it as a word on its own. I'll explain more about it later. So, is that one all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to play an audio file over this Zoom. Let me see if I can play it. I want to demonstrate a transcription exercise. Let me see, computer audio. Okay, I'm sharing computer audio. Share. Okay, let me play a transcript now. Can you hear this sound?
He's so good.
Can you hear the sound? The
Yes,
music
sir.
I just played now. You can hear the music I played now, right?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, so let me play an audio transcript, interview transcript now. Then I will type it out while you hear me. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay. Okay. For a previous one, HD and D. Okay. I wish I can still share my screen at the same time.
Thank you, sir. My name is Jukumako.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten the audio file. Let me see if I can do multiple share. Okay. Stop share. Advanced sharing options. Let me see. This one and MS Word. Okay, so I'm sharing two screens now. You'll be seeing my VLC player and my MS Word. Kindly confirm if you can see the two.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm starting a transcription now. Okay, so listen as I type.
Working. Thank you, sir. My name is Jukumako Juku, working with the World Bank for the Analytic and Advisory Study. And we selected you, sir, as one
Already
of our
going
critical
too fast for
stakeholders.
me.
Thank you, sir. My name is Jukumako Juku, working with the World Bank for the Analytic and Advisory Study. And we selected you, sir, as one of our critical stakeholders to help the World Bank rethink her work, especially in the area of human development in the northeast of Nigeria.
Already going too fast.
The World Bank for the Analytic and Advisory Study. And we selected you, sir, as one of our critical stakeholders.
As one of our critical. So at this point, I'm at 13:0013. That's a timestamp. So let me step back and confirm what I just heard.
Thank you, sir. My name is Jukumako Juku, working with the World Bank for the Analytic and Advisory Study. And we selected you, sir, as one of our critical stakeholders to help the world.
Stakeholders to help the world, blah, blah, blah. That is what transcription is about. Going back and forth and typing out what you are hearing in the interview audio file. So that is practically what it is. You listen to a file, you play it, listen to what it's saying, then you type out what you can hear. And remember, you have the accuracy is an important factor in this work. You have to play it over and over again to be sure you have gotten what the person said and things like that. So timestamp is those are Elsa, can we have a written downloadable content of this class? My network is based. Are we going to be inputting timestamp the transcription? Yes, Miss Bisola, Miss or Mrs. Abisola, you'll be inputting timestamp in the transcription, but maybe like at 5 minutes intervals, not like every 1 minute, like 5 minutes interval or 10 minutes intervals. Do you understand? If the interview is very long, like 5 or 10, so that we can easily, in case you want to jump to the audio, you want to refer to the audio file back, you can easily know which side of the interview you were at that time. You understand? So transcribe all tapes verbatim, that is word for word, exactly as the words were spoken. Indicate all non-verbal or background sound in parentheses. This includes laughter, sigh, cough, clapping, snapping of finger, clicking of pen, car on, pam, aeroplane, bird, and anything you can hear. For example, a short, sharp laugh. See in bracket, short, sharp laugh. Okay, so we ask a girl, a secondary school girl. So, do you have boyfriend? Girl laugh. Or you have a group of girls, ask them, how many of you have boyfriend? All of them start laughing. You see, that's group laughter, open bracket. So that laughter is an important part of the channel, because it shows that probably all of them understand your question, but they may not want to talk. Do not clean up the transcript by removing foul language, slang, grammatical error, or misused words or concepts. Don't clean up the transcript. Send it in the way it is. Your job is just to make sure that the error is not from your side in poor spelling, wrong use of grammar, and things like that. Otherwise, type it the way it is. Transcribe mispronounced words exactly as the interviewer or participant pronounced them. If somebody, we call it blow grammar in my side, that's the person taboo. Instead of saying something called like what's the name of this thing? There's something that became viral recently, sometimes ago. Transmission of the transcription of the. If you have 2 or 3 sentences, I'm going to write the transcription as though we're writing a drama. Yes, you write it as if you're writing a drama script. Exactly. Yes, that's correct. The transmission of the transmission. If you have to transcribe that transmission audio, you type it exactly the way you heard it. Don't clean it up. And if somebody say, I killed a motherfucker, and you are a deeper life person, like how you write motherfucker, you're the one that say you want to transcribe, and you're the one that want to do the research. So you type the word they wrote exactly. Or I fucked the girl as I open my nyash, I put something. Okay, see now I'm already cleaning up my word. And that is not what you're supposed to do. I put my prick inside, the girl was screaming, I was just writing, or the person was describing how he raped the girl. And you are listening like, Jesus, this kind of thing, this word, don't clean it up, right? Exactly, because exactly what they said. Don't, and if they misuse the concepts, don't clean it up. Then, so if they mispronounce the word, I can see people laughing. Sorry, that's what it is. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So transcribe any mispronounced word exactly as it is said. If the person used the wrong grammar, don't clean up their statements for them. Say it the way they have said it. And then standardize your spelling of keywords, blended or compound pronouns, common phrases, identifiers. If you are going to call moderator M, let it be M throughout. If you're going to type moderator in full, let it be moderator in full throughout. If you're going to type participant in P, type it throughout in full. Don't shorten your words. Make it, if it's good, if you are using the standard spelling style, use the same style all through the work. Now, when you have contractions, transcribe both standard and non-standard constructions. You know, one of the things you have been fighting recently is people that say, I'm coming. when they mean I am coming. Because you are the grammarian, don't correct it to be I am coming. Type it exactly what the person said. And if the person said I am coming, you the transcriber, don't type I'm coming, because you have to also be sure of your grammar. After transcribing, if you are not sure, you can get someone that is very good at English to help you cross-check. Constructions of the following word is are. These are constructions, and the non-standard betcha, cause, give me, gutter, after, kinda, look, and blah, 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 blah. Exactly the way the person said it, just type it out that way. Where they use fillers, these are not standard words. Filler like things that you use to cover your idea. Look at what happened here. The man, let me play the audio file again, and you listen. It says, "Thank you, sir. My name is Ojukuma Ojuku, working with the World Bank for the analytic and advice study of analytic study, and we selected you, sir, as one of the critical stakeholders." This was part of what he said. You understand? So you may need to listen out properly. So having typed, you may need to play it again to be sure that you got the idea of what the person said. Okay. So every filler you hear, type them out. But sometimes those fillers may not be important to the work you are doing. Yes, a headset will come in handy. We'll still get to that. The person that commissioned you may say, I just need the text. Don't bother with any of these specific details, because sometimes they may be distracting. Sometimes in some studies, you don't need those fillers. You just need the complete text. The person says, I just want the complete text. Go ahead. But in standard transcription practice, everything you hear should be typed. Another one, if the person repeats a word or phrase, type it like that. If you use transcribe, if you use spelling checker, it will delete one part of it. I went to the clinic to see the nurse. Said to see twice, which is actually how we normally speak. I did come, I did. If I say, that's normally how we talk. So you type it exactly the way the person said it. Transcribe truncated words that are cut off. Maybe a the audible sound followed, for instance, he went and did what I told him he shouldn't have. So normally when you are talking, you may tend to be cutting phrases short. You transcribe it the way it is exactly. It was said exactly. Don't shorten it for the person. Don't correct it for the person either. Type it exactly the way it was said. I believe that those ones are clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Where you have unclear speech, indicate tape segments that are difficult to hear or understand on the transcript. For short words or sentences, use inaudible segments. For example, the process of identifying missing words in a tape recorder interview of poor quality is inaudible segment. Then you should also put a timestamp here to tell us at what point in the audio was it inaudible, so that we'll be able to trace it, and probably somebody else listening to it can hear what you did not hear. And I also found that different audio players, they produce different sounds. So you may want to find one that will give you a very good sound. Where the segment is long or difficult to hear, and when there's silence because no one is talking, record this information in square brackets. Also provide the time estimates. Instead of writing 2 minutes of interview missing, you can write the time it started and the time it stopped. Overlapping speech. Where multiple participants are speaking at the same time, it's difficult to separate and assign, call it a crosstalk. And resume transcription with the first speech that can be attributed to an individual. Pauses, short pauses are marked with a single ellipsis, whereas long pauses are marked. Type long pause and type the time where it started and the time it ended there. Where a word has a questionable accuracy, you may put it in question mark, like you are not sure what the person said is correct, and you feel you should have meant something else. You can put it in this kind of question mark to indicate that I went over to the clinic to meet with the nurse to talk about joining up for the study. So you are not sure, you can put in a question mark to indicate that you are not very clear about what the person said at that particular point. And then sensitive information. Normally in qualitative analysis, we don't transcribe sensitive information. You don't type sensitive information. We delete it from the transcript. But your work is to type everything you hear. If you type it, you can send the person that owns work can go and remove every information that they feel they should remove from it. When I use individual uses our name during the discussion, replace the name with the appropriate ID. For example, my family always tells me, Shegun, think, okay, no, my name is Idowu. Idowu, think about things before you open your mouth. Tell Idowu, don't feel bad. I hear the same thing from mine all the time. So, and during the interview, my name was participant LLO8_2. Can say, or you say my name was P1. My family always tells me, hey, P1, think about things before you open your mouth. Hey, P1, don't feel bad. I heard the same thing from mine all the time. If an individual uses the name of people, locations, organizations, etc., identify them by typing an equal sign immediately before and after the sensitive information. For example, we went over to John Musa's house last night and we ended up going to O'Malley's bar over on 22nd Street. Spent the entire night talking about the very same thing. The reason is because we take it very serious to protect the identity of our respondents. You know, whenever you are taking some interviewing someone, you say all the information you provide, what's the word now? Confidential and anonymous. I will not give anything that can be used to be traced to you. That's the promise you made. Then you have to keep your promise. When you are typing the transcript, you should, when you are writing your report, you should not report people's identity because you never know. You may get somebody killed by revealing the identity without permission or necessarily. For instance, maybe somebody is in hiding or somebody is in asylum and you go ahead and reveal the identity in your transcript. In your report, you may get the person into trouble. So what you do is, as a transcriber, you indicate that this thing should not be there. Don't remove it though. The owner of the work knows how to remove their thing. Just indicate, then person can go ahead and remove it or keep it if they think they don't mind keeping it. Proofread your work for accuracy. After you have typed everything you have heard, start all over again. Sit down with the audio and play it and listen. So that means that you are checking for error, not using a spelling checker. You are listening, you are the spelling checker now. You play against all the transcript to revise the transcript accordingly. Check this transcript while listening to the tape like 3 times before submitting to be sure that there are no errors. Then check transcript for accuracy. If the transcriptionist is not the same person who led the interview, okay, so this part says that if a file was interviewed, an interview was transcribed, the person that carried out that interview should review the transcript against the audio file to be sure that it was what they actually said that the transcriber typed. That person is called a reviewer. As we have a transcriber, there must also be a reviewer who will go over what was transcribed to be sure it was accurate. Then, so what do we do with these identifiers? We replace them with generic name. Look at this. Sensitive information in the transcript are replaced with generic names. This includes incidental mention of names of individuals, persons, organizations, or anybody. Transcriptionists, we have already identified sensitive information with this equals to sign. Then the analyst should look at something like this. For example, counselor's name omitted. So here we have something like this. We went over to friend's name omitted, or in brackets, We went over to name of friend's house last time. We ended up going to name of local bar on street of local bar. This ones will be in brackets. So this ones will be replaced with brackets. Then you now type what should be there in there. At the end of the interview, write clearly at the bottom, end of interview, at the bottom of your transcript. It is very, very important. Then you save your transcript as a Microsoft Word document or whichever format that you are required to save it in. That is the gist about creating a transcript. Any question? So it says that you receive an audio file, you sit down with it, you play it, type everything you hear, then you save it as a Word document and send it back in. That is how you transcribe an audio. Questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that some video audio player, they come in different is it quality that I don't know what to call it.
Audio quality.
Which one will you recommend?
Okay. Let me go back to my slide so that I will address that issue. So from my slide, I will talk. Let's see, how do I do this? I will talk about choosing a good audio player. How to format your transcript. Let me go over to that. So you have typed your interview. Before you submit, what do you need to do with it? Number one, you need to understand that your transcript has like 3 basic parts. So I will tell you about the parts and how to format them. First of all, we have the header. The header is a table that is at the top of your transcripts. It contains vital information about the interview you just transcribed, such as the date it was done, the time, venue, interviewer. It tells everything that's happened to that transcript file, the documents are working, and it is important to your transcript because it helps us to know who created it, when it was created, and everything about the transcript. For instance, look at this header for an IDI. Like this exact table, you come first before you start typing, this person said this, person said this. This is the identifier name for the document. You can agree with your the person that gave you the audio file. What should I use as the archival name for identifier? That is the name you are saving that document as. I will put it here. Who carried out the interview? Normally, anybody that does an interview will mention their name at the beginning of the interview. Type the name. When the date the interview was conducted, where. If they don't provide this thing, call to request for this information if possible. Or just drop this table and leave those places blank. The person that owns the work will be able to provide all the information and fill it in as they want. What's the language of the interview? How many participants? Duration of the interview. You can see it from the length of the audio file. When was the transcription completed? Who completed it? When was it reviewed? Who reviewed it? These ones are very important. You know, I mentioned reviewing now. This is because we want to know that this transcript has it been reviewed? When was it reviewed? Then we'll be able to. So if you have any question, you can easily trace it. Now, this is a header for an FGD. It is slightly different from that of an IDI. Look at this. The same thing, archival code, the name you are saving that file with. And we need to usually make it systematic because in a project we have plenty transcripts. So we make it systematic so that the naming of the transcripts can tally with, because we usually have studies that are done at multi-communities, different communities at the same time and different population. With a proper naming of the file, it's easy to figure out where the transcript belongs to. Look at this, for instance. This is the name of the project, or is the name of the project. This is also part of the name of the project. The type of interview, location, the population, sex of the population, the type of population, and then the date of the interview. So we have all this. This is 10/08/2026, 10/08/2020. Now, this note taker is usually available in an FGD. It's not common in an IDI. The note taker is the person that is working with the moderator in the interviewer. So this should have been moderator. Apologies, please. You can't be an interviewer. You don't have an interviewer in an FGD. Moderator, because it's moderating the conversation. Then we have the note taker. The language, as you can see, the number of participants is higher because this is a focus group discussion. The duration, the date transcription was completed by who, transcription was reviewed by who, and like that. So the first thing on your transcript will be your header. Let me show you a sample. So I have to stop sharing this one now. Okay. Okay, now look at this transcript here. This is the start of the transcript. This is sample transcript. We have the header table here. Then the next one we're talking about is the demographic table. After this table, that's where you can start typing the interview. So, where am I? I want to share my Microsoft Excel. Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay. So I've talked about IDI header and FGD header. Then after the header comes the demographic sheet. This table contains the demographic characteristics of the people that were interviewed. You understand? Now that one is very, very important because you need to know who and who were part of the study. The demographic sheet helps you to answer that question. It consists of the demographic characteristics of the interviewees. Now, the kind of questions that are requested in the demographic sheet differ from study to study. And then, as a transcriber, if they don't provide that sheet for you, don't bother. You may just create the table and not fill it with anything. But normally, it should be provided along with the other file. If it's not provided, just create it and leave it there. If they don't want it, they will delete from their transcript. That's the demographic sheet. So it's not like you are going to be looking for it. It's not a compulsory part of your transcript, but the header table is. And then you input as many information as you can get about it. Now, this is a sample demographic sheet for an IDI. We have the name, serial number, name, location, etc., and so on. Whereas for a focus group discussion, this is different because we are taking the characteristics of more than one person. So it is the information we collected are similar to what is here, just a little bit different, and the way it is structured is different. So I'll be showing you another sample of the demographic sheet inside a transcript so as to cement what I am trying to explain. Okay, so I have this transcript here. The header table, this is the demographics table, follows it directly. Or for this FGD, header table, the demographic table follows it directly. Then you can now start typing the interview as it is. Any question, please? In-depth interview. What is the meaning of IDIS? IDI means in-depth interview. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adeleye. Mrs. Paul Adeleye. The KII means key informant interview. Okay.
Hello, sir. Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I think I came late, so I didn't really understand some parts. But I just want to ask, in case we have 2 or 3 persons talking and we want to transcribe the audio, how do you represent each person? That's one. Then secondly, how would the person that owns the transcription know the key, like you talked about not imputing some sensitive information, changing it with some words, and how would the person know that this is what we are trying to say or this is what we are doing when we are probably changing a sensitive information with another thing? Do you understand, sir?
I understand your question. Yeah, truly, I actually addressed this at the outset. In transcription, don't change whatever they said. Exactly what the person said, type it verbatim. No paraphrasing, no correcting what the person said. However, the sensitive information, your job is not to remove the sensitive information. Your task is to indicate that this can be a sensitive information by putting it inside equals to sign to indicate, okay, show that, okay, this could be a sensitive information. Take note, dear analyst. Please, do you understand my question, ma'am?
Yes, I'm listening.
My answer, does it answer your question?
I'm still trying to wrap my mind. Like, is it in front of that sensitive information?
Okay. I shared it earlier. Let me show you. I shared it on my screen earlier. Share my audio file. Okay. So here we are handling the sensitive information. Look at what happens here. He put it inside equals to sign to indicate that this person used identifiers, which is not supposed to be. This is you, the transcriber, putting this. Now, the person that's writing reports, we'll change it to something like this.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Do you get it, please?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Yes. So you type exact, yeah, Mr. Yokunle, the recorded file and the slide will be made available. I can promise that one. Although it's a copyrighted material to us, but you are our interns, and so we give it to you, FOC, free of charge. So you type everything you hear without changing a word. Don't help them correct their grammar. Don't remove what they did not say. Don't add anything, and don't try and type it the way you understand it. No, it's not about you. We don't need to hear from you. You need to hear from the person that we are interviewing. So don't put yourself, because if you do that, you have spoiled the research. The text of what people said is the real data. So by tampering with the data, you have tampered with the outcome of the research, and you never know the implication of what you have done. So let's talk about how to format. So we have talked about the header now, the header table, the pseudograph table. After that one now comes the body of the transcript itself. Generally, we use hanging indent. You see, this someone says that this looks like a play script. Yes, use hanging indent where the first line will stick out. Here, the first line is sticking out to the left from the rest of the text. Another alternative is you can use a table, but you have to remove the border after you are done with your transcript. But you must, please, does that idea make sense? The table idea I just mentioned. Okay, I'll continue. You can use a table instead of this, but generally we do use a hanging indent. You can get it by just, when you start typing, just press, when you get to where you want to start typing what they said, press Ctrl+T. It will shoot in the second line, and then the first line will stand. Then to now get this align space, what I did is after I type this column, I press tab. It will just want to line up with this line. That's why I have it this neat looking, to give you the hanging indent. The general font size, the font is Times New Roman size 12. and with 1 inch margin on the left and the right. And the left justified, for me, I prefer justified, not even less, and 1.5 line spacing. Also, what should I want to say? What I want to say? Okay, I can't remember it. So that is that. And then the words of the interviewer is usually differently formatted from that of the respondent or the interviewee. Here, we made it bold. And then what the other person was saying was not bold. You can easily distinguish what one person was saying from the other. Even if you look carefully here, I don't know, can you see this part? You see that there is a yes inside this place. This was the moderator talking. The person now said yes. By putting in brackets here, we know that it was not the moderator that said this yes. And also to record, yes, to record. It may be the other way around. Maybe when the person is talking, the interviewer interjected with something, and you know how to break that line. You can put it in bracket, and you have to put it in bracket and bolding it to show that that part was not the person that said it, was the interviewer that should push something into the statement. You can also color the moderator's word in red rather than black and bolding it. It will also serve similar function, but it will not affect the analysis. Words of interviewers as a rule is good not to be, the respondent or the interviewees is good not to color it. Just give us the way it was delivered. That's that. Then, when you are transcribing, you have to tell us who was talking at any point in time. For instance, having done, okay, so in the transcript in the document I was transcribing the other time, the interviewer was the one talking. So I'll type I:\tab. You can hear talking, yes. Then I will go to the words of the interviewee and type. So if as you are typing, the moderator starts talking, you type M:. When the moderator finished talking, who was the next person? Is the respondent to R or respondent in full, not bold. Then who else? Moderator continued talking. Interviewer, so they are talking and collecting it from one another. On the other hand, what you can do is that there's no other hand here. There's no other hand. It's exactly the way it is. So moderator, interviewer, note taker. It is on very rare occasions you may hear the voice of the note taker. In that instance, you mark it as empty, but it's rare. It may be in FGD or KII or IDI. You may have a note taker in all of them. So that's why I wrote anyone, meaning that it can be for any interview. The respondent, it applies basically to KII and IDI. You are doing one-on-one interview, you are having a respondent. But when you are doing a focus group discussion, remember those people are participants. So we call them participant 1, participant 2, participant 3, participant X, Y, and Z. And if somebody is talking, you don't know who was talking, put P question mark. And when you have a chorus answer, you can use P all. You understand? So that we'll be able to know when there's a unanimous answer, and it's a very, very important fact. So as I was saying, so somebody said that, what does FGD mean? I will have answered that question now. FGD is focus group discussion, and KII is key informant interview. So it says where many people are talking at the same time, what you do is you put crosstalk. Times that all of them are, one person is talking, another person is trying responding, and maybe you have raised a very interesting idea, and everybody thinks it was important to keep in something. Then you can use P all for that. And so I think that is where I want to stop on that. So let me go over to our sample transcript, and then we call it a night.
Hello, sir. Can I ask a question, sir?
Please ask.
All right, sir. So how do you address a scenario where the interviewee speaks a local dialect you are unfamiliar with?
Okay. First of all, who carried out the interview?
Someone
What
else,
we can do is,
maybe someone else, the interview was done elsewhere. Maybe the interview was done in the north and you were given the audio file to transcribe, and you hear some code switching because of the interview. How does a person address that?
First, it is wrong for anybody to give you an interview of a language that you don't understand.
No.
It is best to get somebody that understands that language to transcribe.
Okay.
You understand?
No, what if the interview is in English, but along the line there were some code switching,
Well, the person that they switch the code for must understand that language.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
All right.
The interviewer that did the interview. So what you can do is, if it happens that they brought something and there was a code switching, they should not even send it to someone that doesn't understand language, because they will pay double money like that for transcription.
Okay.
So it's better to send it to somebody that understands that language and let the person do the transcription all through. Or you can indicate language change from what time in the audio to what time, so that everybody that wants to go and fix that part can just go directly to that part and listen and do their transcription.
All right, sir.
You understand? You can use a timestamp to indicate code switching. Code switching is where you are changing from one language to another. You are speaking English, then switch to broken English, or switch to Igbo, or switch to Swahili, because the idea was not going well with you in one language. You do a lot of code switching. Everybody, you can start with your friend in one language and you end up in another language. So that's code switching.
All right, sir. Then I want to ask, what exactly does the note taker, what's the role of the note taker? What exactly does the person do?
Okay, are you in for?
And let me ask the last one, just to wrap everything up. Then what is the standard amount for a transcript? If you are charging per hour, I've worked with different people and people come with funny ideas. If it will be very helpful if you can give us an idea of how much a transcript costs if you are transcribing per hour or per minute. I don't know.
Okay. Painfully enough, that is outside the scope of our class. Do you understand? I can't say. It's up to your discretion. And then number two is that you have to understand that the projects differ from one another. A master's degree student that brings an audio file of 1 hour and a funded project of 1 hour, they can never pay the same amount.
So they understand that.
Do you understand what I'm saying, sir?
I understand.
The context differ. So you can't be insensitive to the needs of people and just say, this is my standard something, and that is that about that. And you are living in the same country where you know that people are struggling to get themselves together. That's insensitivity of the highest order.
Okay.
Do you understand, sir?
I understand. I understand.
Thank you very much.
Then what does the note taker do?
Sir? The note taker.
Yeah.
Are you all for quantitative or qualitative, sir?
Qualitative.
You are here for qualitative
yes,
program.
Yes,
okay. It should be addressed in your class. The note taker usually does exactly what it says, taking note of the interview, because there will be some things that may come up that needs to be captured. Maybe an idea that came up during the interview that is worth taking note of, and the moderator may not be able to take note of it. So at the end, the person and the moderator will compare notes. What have we done? What did you notice? What are the non-verbal cues? The number two, they write down the non-verbal cues in the discussion. Please, have you done how to carry out an FGD in your qualitative class, sir?
We did the introductory part. The last
so when you do the advanced part, it will be explained further to you on what the note taker does during the interview. It's a lot of work, and I don't have my slide there. I don't want to delve into that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. So that is how to transcribe an audio file. And that's what we wanted to explain to everybody tonight. Does anybody have any question again?
Yeah, I've not answered my own question.
What's the question?
The recommended video audio player.
Okay, yes. How come I skipped that in my slide? I think I have it. Okay, where I mentioned it, yes, okay. Okay, so this is a serious question because the audio players differ from one another. I found that their loudness differ from one another. VLC to me is the loudest audio player that I know of, either on phone, on computer. So at any time T, I prefer using VLC media player to play my audio files than any other one. So the one we are trying to introduce to you is called Express Scribe. Express Scribe is basically a transcription software. What does it do is that it allows you to rewind, to fast forward your audio file easily using your keyboard button instead of having to be pressing forward and backward. Then you can even reduce, no, you do not even in VLC or anyone, you can reduce the speed of the audio file that you are listening to so that the speed will be slower than now. You don't need to, your interest is not in listening to everything and finishing it in record time. So you can reduce the playback speed on VLC, for instance, so that it will play slowly and you'll be able to pick out the words. Express Scribe also allows you to play slowly and even to rewind easily. And you can also rewind on VLC by pressing the back arrow. When it's playing, you can press the back arrow to skip back some few minutes, or you can press shift back arrow to skip back some few seconds, and the same thing forward, so that you'll be able to repeat what you have said, but you do a lot of pause and play, unless you're a very fast typist. There are some software that are being created for audio transcription. They are based on artificial intelligence, but as at now, they have not yet perfected transcribing Nigerian English because our English has a different vibe to it altogether. So you can check it online on Play Store, otter.ai, OTTER. I'm typing it in the chat, otter.ai. You can check it up on Play Store on your browser. They allow you to upload an audio file there to transcribe it for you and give you the transcript. But you have to know that accuracy will be so much that maybe it will even be better for you to type the whole thing in the first instance. So that is our lesson for today. I think I will have to not do the Express Scribe thing. Now, I was hoping I would do it, but our time has gone beyond a lot. I want us to wrap.
I wanted to give us an example. You will need now.
Okay, example of a transcript, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, stop share.
Actually, is it something we can have later and go through it ourselves?
What do you say, ma'am?
I said, is it something we can have much later and go through it ourselves?
Okay, this is what's going to happen. Everybody is going to, this weekend, everybody is going to receive an audio file to transcribe, all interns. We are putting you on a project. Everybody is going to do it together on the project. That project is one kind of project like that, Sha. So everybody is going to get an audio, at least one audio file, or maybe 2 or 3, or even 5. So your task will be to go and transcribe it based on what you have done now. Now, I want to encourage you to not take it for granted or not to be slack, because if you're able to perfect your transcription with this exercise we are giving you, you have earned a skill from this program. And it's a marketable skill. And if you see that you did the work well, we can easily put you on major projects and recommend you. I need transcribers because it's one of the things that we always have to deal with, needing transcribers. Please, do you understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. But
ma'am? Okay, I'm still coming back to your request too. I'm still coming back to your request. So because as a research organization, we always have need of transcribers almost all the time. So what do? While we are training you, one reason why we are doing this training for you is that we want to increase our pool, and also we want to be able to provide, to serve, to meet the demand in the research market. The research market has a lot of demand, people that we need people to carry out studies, to analyze the data, to collect data and things like that, but we are sometimes short of this, you understand? So that's why we are carrying out this training, so that you will be able to meet the market need and also do things for yourself as you go along. So, is that all right, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm trying to look for a transcript that I can share safely. Do I have a transcript I can share safely? Because most of these projects are like things that should be published. Do you understand? So we have to be very careful about issues on ethics. You don't share people's information without their permission. Okay, I think I've found some transcripts I can share. These studies have been concluded. So I think this one, okay, I think I can afford to share this one. Let me bring it up. Oh, this one is not a standard one. All these ones do not have heading. These people just did one jaku or there and they sent it in. You had no choice, you just use it that way. I think I'll just have to make do with this. I don't have, okay, let me make do with this. I don't have something I can safely share. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
So this is a model. This, in fact, this I developed this model here deliberately. This is a model of what your transcript will look like. The header table, the sociodemographic table, and then immediately after that, you start typing what the people have said. When you are done, you get to say end of interview. Then you write here the start time. Sometimes you write start time, end time, whatever you want to do. So that is that about that. Thank you and your team for doing this, sir. Thank God, Mr. or Miss Uche. I still don't know whether it's male or female. So, in the absence of any other question, I think we can call it a night or an evening or a Friday night.
Sir, is Transcribe available on Play Store?
Yes. Okay, let me show you how to. Transcribe is actually something that you should install on your laptop, not on your phone.
Oh, okay.
It's a Windows software. Let me show you how to install Transcribe. So let me just go over that briefly. So maybe I should even demonstrate it to you. So share my browser screen. Where is that browser? This is it. Share. So we go to free download Transcribe. And Transcribe transcription software by nch.com/au. So I'm coming here. No, I should have chosen the second option. Download for Windows. And there's a paid version, but we are going to use the free version for now. So it is downloaded, it's just 1 megabyte. It's not a very heavy file. Let me see if I can even share it in this chat. So you can probably download it to your computer. Let me see, download. Where's downloads folder? Libraries, this PC, downloads. Yes. File is blocked for security reasons. Let me share my screen. Let me not share the Transcribe below. What is on the share my screen? This is the advanced portion of my screen. Share. Okay. Okay, so this is a portion of my screen I'm sharing with you. I have the Transcribe already downloaded here. So I will install it now. Show in folder. This is my Express Scribe. I accept the time for if you have time, you can read all this, but I'm not reading. So it's installing. That's finished installing.
Thank you for installing ExpressScribe by NCH Software. ExpressScribe is professional audio playback control software designed to assist the transcription of audio recordings. By now, you should have installed this program on the computer of the person who will be typing. If you have foot pedals for your computer, you should connect them now and run the foot pedal setup wizard, which is on the control tab of settings.
So let me play this. Let me share my sound with you as well. Computer audio share. Can you still see my screen, please?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, stop share. Let me do multiple share. Share screen. Okay, I'm sharing my sound. Then I'm sharing my screen. Advanced share portion of my screen. Share. Okay. So this is software.
Full tab of settings. If you don't have pedals, playback can be controlled using system-wide hotkeys.
You can still hear the sound, I guess, right?
The F9 key to play, the F7 and F8 keys to rewind and fast forward, and the F4 key to stop. For information about other keys and instructions on changing the key assignment, please view the ExpressScribe manual. There is much more to ExpressScribe, which is also covered in the ExpressScribe manual. You can view or print the full ExpressScribe manual at any time by pressing the F1 key.
Okay, so that's the demo audio that comes with it. Immediately you install it to start playing. And if you listen very well, it contains the instruction on how to run the software. At the bottom here, you can adjust the playback speed to as low as 25% and as high as 100% speed. If you put at 25%, that means to be playing very slowly. Then this is your volume control. This is your play finder. You are playing a file. So how to add the audio file to it? You can use drag and drop. Drag and drop. Let me find this. Let me find something from my downloads folder. I can drag this audio file and drop it on my ExpressScribe. Let me minimize this. My ExpressScribe. Let me look for an audio file. Let me put no, this one is too large. I want something small. Let me put this song. Benefits of. Okay, so I drag and drop this file. I put it on my ExpressScribe. It is loading the audio file, see, and you see it here on my list. It has joined it already. I can start playing it. Sorry, it's a song file. That's what I could lay my hand on as fast as possible. It's at 25% feedback speed. 100% is the normal speed. And 300%. If the audio is super slow, I need to make it fast. Then these are the controls. You can control the speed with your function keys on your keyboard. So when you install it, go over these keys to see how, test each of them out, to see how they play out on the software. Then you'll be able to understand it. So I think that is it. Mrs. Adileye, Then you can make it a mini version. Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful part about this software. You can put it into a mini mode such that as you are typing on your Word document, it will just sit down on top like this, and your hotkeys will still be functioning while you are typing. Your hotkeys, those buttons. If I press play now, I can't remember the let me adjust this. Delete this file. File, load dictation file. Let me look for something more sensible, Joe. I was thinking we spend an hour. Now I'm spending more than almost 2 hours. I need to wrap up this thing. Where are you? Okay. So I have this audio file. I want to load all these four onto it, highlight and drop, or I think I can carry the entire folder and drop. It will always bring up this message. Just close it to tell you that, are you enjoying the view cancel. Because they are giving you free software, so they want to stay on your neck all the time to be asking you a question, do you love their software? And blah, 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 blah. So it has not allowed me to drop my folder. Let me try again. Oh, okay. It's because I'm trying to put folder there. That's why it's asking me that question. Maybe it's for special offer. So I'll use the one that is not special. I have heard Transcribe. And they were not this troublesome before. I'm not using the feature again, I'm sorry. It's because I'm using a special feature. So they said that I have to pay before I can use that feature. So let me use the normal one, JJ. Drag and drop. Okay. So I cannot load plenty audios now. I have to do it one by one. Cancel. Okay. File, load dictation files. Let me see. Where are you? Let me copy this folder to somewhere on my desktop where I can my documents, where I can easily locate it. So change. Okay, so I'll put them there now. You file, load dictation files. So these are they. Let me see if all of them will go in. Yes, Transcribe, I'm sorry. Load dictation files. So I have to do it one by one. It wasn't this difficult before. Now, okay, I don't know why they are making it this difficult. It was not this difficult before. You can easily use their software. I guess I'll have to study more on this. But generally, this is the software that we use for audio transcription. I will figure out, look into it to know why it was given this issue. So that's the end of all our discussion for today.
Right, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. In the absence of any question, can we call it a day? Okay.
Right.
So our coordinator will link up with you and give you our assignments to work on. And those assignments, the audios you will transcribe and you'll be able to sharpen your audio transcription skills. Thank you. Do have a wonderful night rest.
You too, sir.
Thank you, sir.